We wish to inform the country that our returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, Mr. Daniel Mushoka, has been reported missing while on duty at the East African School of Aviation Center. That is East African School of Aviation Tallying Center. Reports received by the Commission indicate that at around 9 a.m. on 11th of August yesterday, he was escorted to from his house to the office, that's the tallying center, by his bodyguard at around 9:45 a.m. He excused himself to make a telephone call, but did not return to the office. Mr. Mushoka's family and the Commission have been trying to reach him without success, and his duties are now being handled by the Deputy Returning Officer. A report of a missing person has been made at Embakasi Police Station under occurrence book number 24/11/8/2022. The Commission is deeply concerned about this unfortunate incident and calls upon the relevant security agencies to speedily investigate this matter. Thank you.
You've been watching a briefing there by the IEBC, and we have just heard from the chairman, Wafula Chebukati, who has said that the returning officer from Embakasi East has been reported missing while on duty at the African School of Aviation Tallying Center. He said that at around 9:45 a.m. on the 11th of August, or rather at around 9 a.m. on the 11th of August, he was escorted from his home to the tallying center by his bodyguard, and then at around 9:45 a.m. he excused himself to make a phone call, but then did not return to the center. The Commission and his family have tried to reach him, but have been unsuccessful. A report of a missing person has been made to the Embakasi police station. The Commission, the Chair says that the Commission is deeply concerned and calls upon the security agencies to investigate this matter. We'll certainly be following this story and the developments that come with it and bring you the very latest as and when we get more details. Let me just come back to our guests now in studio, and let me get a comment from you, Prof. I'll start with you on this statement by Wafula Chebukati about a returning officer who has now been reported missing.
Smithy, over the last 1 year, I've had the privilege of training IEBC and several other stakeholders on election security and discussing issues of election security. So when I hear this kind of story, it's actually a personal issue about the real threats that the individuals who are working on this face. You heard me at the start saying, let's spare thought for them. I didn't even know that this has happened. This is somebody's child, this is somebody's parent. To hear the statement that is missing since yesterday, it's a very, very sad situation. I think we all need to call on the security agencies to do all that it takes to ensure that that returning officer is back. Because it's not just about that returning officer. Imagine what it means for the rest of the other officers that we see announcing results in all parts of the country. My plea to all of us, the individuals who are doing this work are doing work on behalf of all of us. Let's do everything that is possible to provide them with an environment to enable them do what is required. All the other things that the country requires to deal with, we need to deal with them outside the IEBC process. Let's give IEBC the opportunity of delivering results and ensuring that we can know the will of the people and we can know who are elected leaders and we can move on with life. So my thoughts and prayers are with this individual and with all the staff, the commissioners, and the support people who are working with them to ensure that we have a credible 2022 election.
We certainly hope for the best. Isabella, let's have you chime into this issue. What are your thoughts? And before we crossed over to the IEBC, I was bringing up the issue about mental health and how people need to try stay calm at this point.
Smriti, just from the briefing we had, you see how we are oscillating between a very, stable place and unstable place. The returning officer's case can't happen. Shouldn't happen. We still have time. It's very unfortunate that we're receiving this particular report right now. But could you imagine what then that causes? I'll take you back to the Constitution. Article 21 requires that the state promotes and upholds the enjoyment of human rights. The simple fact that we have a formal complaint now made with respect to a disappearance of an elections officer, that's grave. We can't have that, because then that trickles down to the ordinary mwananchi, right? And we all remember what happened in 2017. We lost one senior person, and up until today, we do not know what exactly happened to them. Yeah. And in the strongest terms possible, I demand, in fact, that the state takes this up seriously. We have seen them investigating matters. They are able to. They must. It is the right of this particular commissioner, specifically in their official capacity, that he be brought back. He has to be brought back. There are several legal frameworks that cover this particular scenario, and I'm happy that it has already also been announced. Good or bad, the state has the muscle to get to the bottom of this, and even in 24 hours or whatever. And so I'm saying that, of course, with a bit of concern, because when we started, I told you about some of the human rights monitors who have been threatened, right? And so we are not saying that it is by the state, but the simple fact that someone cannot enjoy their security and then there are threats directly made to their life, that can tell some form of enjoyment of, so we have an issue here, but it's fine. Let me take you back to the question that you asked. In terms of mental health, certainly I'm not a medical practitioner, but I would tell you some of the things that I have done on a personal level. For instance, I just minimized my consumption
of social media? Social
media and news,
right.
Specifically today, right? It gets a bit tough when you are oscillating between KTN, Citizen TV, NTV, and all that. So on a personal level, possibly this would be useful. Kenyans would say, let's drink. I don't know about that, but if it helps, so be it. But I'd also urge that we speak to each other, possibly just as we share. And funny thing is, even at this panel, we get to chat, and I speak to you, and I speak to Professor Ndaktari. That sort of helps. I feel like certainly there's a collective electoral anxiety or stress. I'm not sure what medics would say we do with that, but possibly move your body, because that also helps me, and things like that. But I also want to weigh in on the discussion we had with Prof. Ndaktari on the scenarios. We like to forget, for the most part, that when we went to the ballot boxes, we were already scenario building for ourselves, specifically based on the people we brought, or rather we are thinking of bringing. And so then if things go the way they should, we expect 4 scenarios, right? We have Azimio. They promised us, they gave us in our Zekana 10-point plan, 6,000 per month. How beautiful. And then we have issues of, one market, one product, things like that. We have the Roots Party. Yeah, the manifesto told us we'll work 4 days a week. How beautiful would that be? They're telling us that we'll trade in dog meat, yeah, and marijuana will be legalized. We have Agano. They're promising us to reduce the income tax and strengthen public audits. We have then the Kenya Kwanza plan, the bottom up, more of digital expansion, more of agricultural bolstering, and things like that. So